Welcome to the Call Your Cousins podcast, a podcast dedicated to exploring deep and complex topics that shape our world and human experiences. Before we dive into today's episode, we want to acknowledge the sensitive nature of some of the content we discuss. Please be advised that this podcast may include themes and discussions that could be triggering or uncomfortable for some listeners, including but not limited to discussions on mental health, violence, abuse, and other potentially distressing topics. Listener discretion is advised. Remember, this podcast is for informational and educational, but most importantly, entertainment purposes only, and should not be taken as professional advice. The views expressed by hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Call Your Cousins podcast. Enjoy the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Whatever time you're joining us, the cousins thank you for doing so. Welcome back to the Call Your Cousins podcast, a now tangible group chat of cousins that wanted to share our thoughts, humor, and growth with the world. And everyone's invited. Most of y'all. Welcome back to the Call Your Cousins podcast. I'm your host, A-Dub. Today we're working with a bit of a skeleton crew. We've got Twin here. Say what's up to him, Twin.
Hey y'all, what's up?
We've got the research team here.
Bow, bow, bow. Hey y'all.
And of course, A-Dub. Let's get into it. Good morning, fam. Getting pretty hot outside. What y'all got going on for the summer?
You know, I'm ready for the festivals. Jazz festival, reggae festival, Auburn Avenue festival, all the festivals. Just bring them on. It's getting hot outside. I'm ready.
Okay,
And speaking of
which,
which,
outside, right?
it's hot, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to be outside every weekend because the weather is nice and I only get like 2.5 months of sun and warmth together. So I'm outside every weekend.
Is it really 2 months?
Before because they closed, they just opened up the pool on Saturday, which is earlier because normally it don't open up until next month. So that's good. But yeah, it's only before it starts getting like that cool again, not cold, but it's just like I don't think I'm gonna be in the pool, but it's still nice out, but I don't think I'll be in the pool.
So it's officially open. So what you're saying is it's time for me to come back and visit. That's what I heard. Because it was a little too chilly before. I was waiting until it warmed up.
Yeah, this would be the time to come and visit. Yes.
Is it like 75 or 85?
It was like 80 yesterday, but today it's like 70, 75. But remember, like this 80 is not like down south 80. So it's not like blistering heat with like humidity and stuff like that. It's like true temperature. Like I don't know how else to explain it. Like this is how a normal 80 would feel like.
Like you could still walk outside.
Right. And not pass out and die or sweat to your balls.
So our Florida heat was fraud. That's crazy. You saying the Florida 80 is like 100?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, the Georgia 80 is like 90.
Slavery. Yeah, it's like slavery.
90, about 90, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool
giving that slavery heat.
I feel like as soon as it hit 80, really 78, you can get in the pool down here. I mean, I'm getting in at 75, but
yeah, that's facts. Honestly, if it's above 90 degrees, I don't want to be outside at all. Like pool or not, it's like that's hot.
In the South, yes, yeah, that's too hot.
That's broiled
in the pool all the time. But 90s is good for my pool. Shout out to my pool in my backyard. It's good for the pool because then it'd be hot enough all day. My pool not heated, y'all. It'd be hot enough all day that by the evening time it'd be warm.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I like the 90 for that, but otherwise No.
Yeah, see, yeah, up here it's not temperature controlled either. So that's why it's like it's almost like you have to wait till like almost 2, 3 o'clock when the sun is like kind of high up and a little bit warmer for the pool to feel like, oh, okay, this is decent. Cause like people jump out of the pool like at like 6 or 7, because then it's like, ooh, it's getting a little cool in the pool. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, because yesterday I went to this podcast festival and it was like 78 degrees, but the sun wasn't out. And I put my arm outside and I was like, I thought it was 78 outside. It's a little chilly. It was like cloudy and kind of overcast, but 78. So I thought it was still gonna be warm enough. But it was a little, it wasn't chilly, but I decided on wearing jean capris instead of shorts. And that was perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love me some
Mm,
70-ish weather. 70-ish. I'm good right there.
That's how it was
How
in
was the
San Diego.
festival?
The festival was great. I went solo. Shout out to people that hang out by themselves. Side note, I told people I went to the festival by myself, and people was like, "Why would you go by yourself?" I'm like, first of all, the festival was $60, so I ain't want to be like, "Hey, y'all, come to this festival with me," and I don't even know if it's gonna be good. And really, I'm just going for some business intel. You got $60, so I went by myself. And another side note is how expensive everything is, y'all. I spent like $200 at the festival between parking, which was $30. Atlanta.
Yeah.
Really, Atlanta? $30 for parking. The ticket was $60. One drink was $17. Y'all know I had to have two. Okay. The catfish plate was $25. And then my spellman hat was $40.
See, man, we taking advantage of us because they know we need some catfish.
Thank you.
They know we need
Now
some drink.
you know I needed the catfish plate. Why y'all got the catfish and fries for $25? Now it was bussing, okay? I meant to tell y'all in the chat. It gave our family a run for its money. Cause we judging the catfish for real. Because
That's cap.
we got the fish.
Treachery and lies will get you nowhere. That's crazy.
It wasn't better, but we would have ate it. If we had that at the fish fry, it would have been like, okay, somebody know what they doing. It ain't the family catfish, but somebody back there know what they doing. So it was good. But anyway, my point in saying that is I wanted to give a recap because this was really a business trip. I was going for some intel. I really didn't know what to expect, but this was called, I'll tell you what it is. It's called the Black Effect Podcast Festival. So it was specifically for Black people, and they had different food trucks, they had a bar, and they had different panels of people who already have successful podcasts, giving us business advice, and for people with up and coming podcasts, just giving us some advice as Black entrepreneurs. And I really didn't know what to expect from it. So I was just going, we are kind of in our infancy phase in our podcast. So just trying to go see what tips I could get. And my point in mentioning the $200 is, now I ain't have to buy all that stuff, but even minus the hat and the drinks, I still spent like $150. And I feel like that is kind of a testament to sometimes you got to spend money to make money, because even if I hadn't bought nothing, the ticket was $60, which I kind of felt like was a lot. But you know how we do. I feel like we kind of overcharge our own people. You know what I'm saying? But I guess I'm just saying sometimes you got to spend money to make money. So anyway, I feel like it was worth it because they had this thing called Pitch Your Podcast. And it was whether your podcast was a concept or you're already up and running, whatever, you get 2 minutes to tell them what your podcast is about. And they're going to listen to everything and then figure out who they want to pick and move forward with the podcast. And so, like I said, I wasn't ready. But I got me a drink And I spent an hour or so just kind of gauging what everybody was talking about and putting my pitch together. And so the pitch was 2 minutes. My pitch was right on point, 2 minutes on the dot. I feel like I went longer than everybody else because people was just kind of winging it, as was I. But if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And so we already had a lot of our business plan laid out and what our podcast is. And so I just kind of sat there with my drink and put together real fast in notes, what we're about and what I wanted to talk about and what we need their help with and our socials. So I know some of our audience is Black entrepreneurs and not necessarily in the podcast space, but if you're going out on your own, I just want to give some advice. Stay ready, okay? Be ready to pitch at all times to whomever. Don't be afraid to do it, because I was afraid. Like I said, I spent like an hour just getting ready, but I still did it, and I didn't let that fear hold me back. And it was good practice. So even if they don't pick me, I'm now comfortable pitching on the spot to anybody. So to y'all out there, don't be afraid. If you're trying to get your business up and running, sometimes you got to try something different. Be open to new opportunities and ready on the fly. So that's my business advice for today.
That's
What
what's
y'all
up.
think?
I mean, I think it was great that you were able to just put something together and just go do it. And I know the rest of us couldn't be there with you, but I know you did your thing. You represented us in the podcast well. And a lot of times people are afraid, but all you got to do is just go do it, because you're going to feel so much better afterward. And you realize, damn, I'm still alive and it ain't hurt nothing.
Yeah, it was good. I did feel good after. That's when I got my catfish plate. I was like, okay, I'm ready to eat now. It was great.
Uh,
And I got me another drink after that. So what y'all got? What kind of festivals y'all be having in Miami?
all the
All of
music festivals, Rolling
yeah.
Loud. What's that other one? The EDM one.
Oh yeah, they be mad about that one because of the noise.
EDC, Electronic Dance Conference or whatever. Is that it?
We can say that. I don't really be attending that one, but
Who be
it's a
mad?
lot.
The city?
Yeah, it's a bunch of festivals not specifically for us, but they there.
They there. I've never been to Rolling Loud.
Really?
Also in Miami, it's not really a festival, but I guess it could be like a super, super adult festival. Now we have the F1 race. I think that occurs next month in May. Pardon me?
I said, oh.
Oh yeah, it's a huge deal now. So there's that, but there's a lot of stuff to do in Miami, a lot of stuff going on, especially in the summertime.
Yeah, I definitely have Rolling Loud on my list. But I don't know about no festival in Miami. It's too damn hot.
And it's too many
Yeah.
just uncultured heathens running around. Honestly, like just too many people. I
I
couldn't
was gonna
do
say
it.
it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like if the festival traffic don't get you, it'll be the people traffic that take you out. Cause it's just a lot of people, and you're just like, but why?
Yeah, I was shocked at the traffic the last time I went to Miami, which was maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, maybe 2 years ago. I didn't realize the traffic had got that bad. It's bad.
What you mean got that bad? It's always been bad.
It was
I was
worse than I had experienced before.
The thing is, Miami traffic only flows north and south, really. It ain't like Atlanta where you can go in any direction. So you pretty much be stuck.
pretty much.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, the boy OJ up out of here.
RIP to the juice.
R.I.P.
RP to who?
OJ
The
Simpson.
juice. The juice.
I thought you said to a king. I was going to say, we need to unpack that.
I mean, definitely a polarizing figure, for sure. But people will either don't know because we weren't alive or forget that OJ was incredibly popular before his, situations in the 90s.
Yeah, he was. I was just excited about how much love the Juice Man was getting. Okay, as an Atlanta native, I was like, of course, is gonna start talking about
He
OJ the
was a
Juice Man.
superstar.
Shout out to OJ the Juice Man. I agree that OJ is a polarizing figure. And I do think that my opinion is based on me not really being an adult during his time of fame and like people loving him as a football star. I feel like I was introduced to him during the trial in the 90s, and I could not understand why anybody liked him because he seemed like an abusive asshole. But as an adult and coming into my adulthood, I understood the context around Rodney King and, you know, how that was kind of letting him off. They kind of had to because they beat Rodney King so bad. And so I understand him getting off, but also a part of me is like, I don't know about you aping for OJ. Like, I get it, but I don't know if we got to do all.
I think he just represented something that we as a Black people like hadn't seen in a long time. It's like a Black man who was like doing really well. He had, you know, kind of everybody behind him, like not just Black people, but you know, white people loved him, and he was like that dude. But I definitely share your same sentiment with like I don't remember, like I wasn't around during that part. I just remember the Bronco and the gloves don't fit, so you must have quit. Like that's all I really remember. So
Shout out to Johnny Cochran. And I think love Johnny Cochran too. And that really, we were glad that he had him on his team because I love Johnny Cochran, but it was also like, but it's OJ though. And that
I
brings
mean,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't think it's aping for OJ. Me personally, it's just the man had his day in criminal court. He got off. So there was a different situation in civil court, which is why he did owe the victims' families, you know, so much money or whatever. But they didn't convict him, and that's not for it's kind of out of the court of public opinion at that point because he got off. Like, what can you really say?
I feel like that brings up a broader question that I've been thinking about in the recent months. Does someone's good deed, well, and I'm talking particularly about Black men, do their good deeds and charming, likable personality negate them being an awful person? Because I hear
I
you
don't.
saying he had his day in court, but to me, if I know for a fact somebody killed their wife and they get off, I'm not gonna be like, well, you know, they ain't convict a man, so let's go to lunch. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like, you got off and good, maybe good for you, but nah, you're still a killer. And I'm good.
Well, yeah, we don't know that. And then in our age bracket, OJ doesn't. He's not likable to us. He doesn't. We don't know of any good deeds, or we just weren't around. All we know is this trial. So all we can really say is, well, he didn't get convicted. I mean, we can watch all the documentaries, but we don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I've seen people our age talking about, yeah, OJ the man, and he got off. Why y'all still talking about that? He ain't do that. It's like, were you there? Weren't you like 7? Okay. What you finna say, research team?
I was gonna say technically we don't know if he did or did not. He just wasn't found like guilty of that particular crime. So there's that. But to answer your question, whether you're a charismatic bad person or a rude a-hole person, like I think bad is bad. It could be more digestible to the masses if you have like some charisma behind being bad. Like it just might be, it might not off put people at the beginning.
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
don't know if he did it. I mean, I don't know if he did it, but do I think that he is definitely responsible? I think there's a very, very good chance he's either responsible or complicit in what happened. Yeah, I do.
I think that, and I also feel like his actions afterward didn't necessarily make me like him anymore.
I mean, you've already been villainized, whether you did it or not. I mean, there's a lot of times this happens to people, and they just kind of lean into it because it's what they become in your eyes already.
That's true.
Yeah, like the narrative is already there. I agree with like I don't know if he did or didn't do it. But I feel like that doesn't take away the player that he was and what he did for Black athletes as a whole.
I guess I feel
That's
like,
sentiment. Yep.
and maybe I will admit that I have a bias against men that seem abusive to me. I feel like if you are involved at all, like, 'cause I agree with you, Dub. I don't feel like his hands was completely clean. Maybe he didn't, carry out the killing, but I feel like you're responsible and you were involved. And to me, leaning in and taunting the victims and like other people is not the quality of a good person to me. Like if I was involved in somebody's death and I got off, I'm not writing no book talking about if I did it. Like it's just taunting people for no reason. And so his actions afterward made me feel like he was a villain and probably a villain in that story. And I don't feel no type of way that he gone, to be honest.
So you agree with Caitlyn?
Now I don't know about now, Caitlyn.
Right.
Got him.
I don't know that Caitlyn should have said anything at all.
I know for a fact Caitlyn should have kept
Caitlyn should have
the
kept
mouth closed. For a
Caitlyn
fact.
should have stayed out of black folks' business. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Worry about your own business that you got going on. You got enough because then you commit vehicular homicide. Oh, okay.
Sure did.
And got clean.
Tell us what
Sure
Caitlyn
did.
said for the people who didn't see it.
It was just like a situation where at the time when he was a man or identified as a male, he hit somebody and then killed the lady. And now Caitlyn, she is coming back and saying, hey, good riddance, to OJ being gone. Sir, as humans, we're not perfect. Got it. But you literally killed someone. All evidence pointing to you, and you calling out somebody else? Nah, stay in your vehicular homicide lane. Keep your mouth closed.
Crazy.
Can we tell the people, for those who don't know, Caitlyn's relationship to this whole thing?
Oh, Caitlyn Jenner, formerly known as Bruce Jenner, ex-husband of Kris Jenner. Jesus. It's a lot. Lord have mercy. Let's
break it down for the people because some of us wasn't really alive back then.
Right. So
okay.
Bruce Jenner, Olympic, athlete, married Kris Jenner, who all of them happened to be like real cool friends with OJ Simpson back in the day. And allegedly
her ex-husband represented OJ in the case as well.
Right. Her What's the first husband name?
Robert Kardashian.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. So Chris
All right,
married
to put it
Rob.
simply, Caitlyn Jenner ain't got with this. He's talking about somebody that's separated from him by like 3 degrees. It like this has nothing to do with you, and he shouldn't have been talking about it in the first place.
Well, they have like pictures together, and they look like they was like hanging out at one point back in the day. Like used to be like,
they was both athletes.
Yeah, and they were both athletes. And allegedly, the rumor mill is that he stopped hanging with OJ or stopped kicking it with him because allegedly, heavily on the allegedly, Chris was messing with OJ. Allegedly.
Ooh.
Twitter goes crazy.
That's what they be saying. They be saying that. Yeah.
But long story long, it's just not. It's not anyone's place to say anything like that when someone has like passed away, because he still has like family, like he still has kids. There are people that still mourn him not being on this earth. Just because we as a public only got exposed to maybe the not so positive side, or a really horrible moment in time for him, doesn't take away like there are people who loved him, cared for him, you know what I mean? So it's just like good riddance. Like, really?
I don't even think it's about the family. It's like they're already not here anymore, which is the ultimate. Like there is nothing after that. You know what I'm saying? It's just very finite. So even if that's how you feel, you don't have to tweet that. You don't have to share your thoughts. You can keep that to yourself. If you're happy he gone, be happy within. Like that's not something that you need to be broadcasting.
Now, I agree that Caitlyn specifically shouldn't be broadcasting anything, but I disagree a bit with not. I've always felt on the fence about not shaming or damning people after they're gone, because I don't give a fuck. Child molester, whatever the good riddance. I don't give a who love you or who you brought into the world. You. But I do agree that Caitlyn shouldn't have said nothing. I'm just saying in general. I don't necessarily. But I am not that evolved of a human yet. So we all a work in progress,
Yeah, so I guess Caitlyn feelings towards OJ is gonna be forever beef. Kind of like these next two we got coming up. What y'all heard about Chris Brown and Quavo?
Now, okay, can we start with how the whole beef started? Because I read a whole timeline about it because I forgot. I'm like, how did Migos and Chris Brown start beefing?
I forgot they got the scrapping in that parking lot that time. You remember?
So I didn't even know they had beef until like this, because y'all know I be in and out.
Oh, I remember that, Dub, but I read that it all started, and I remember this. Remember they was clowning each other on IG one time. They was roasting each other. It was Chris Brown and Amigos going back and forth. I don't know if it was Chris Brown and just Offset, or I don't know, but they was roasting each other on IG, and somebody in Amigos got pissed off about it, and that's how the whole beef started. Do y'all remember that?
No,
got me on that one. Nope.
But I think that was prior to the scrapping in the parking lot.
When did that come into play? Can we do a series of events? Like what? Break it down.
I don't even know the whole series, to be honest. I just remember the roasting on IG started it. And then it's just been a series of unfortunate events ever since then. I don't even, Dub, do you remember when the scrapping in the parking lot happened?
It was at the Summa award show. I want to say, what's his name? The little clown kid was there. I want to say Tekashi was also there in some kind of capacity. I feel like, unless I'm conflating two different scraps and award shows or something.
Kid.
Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah, the one he looked like a clown with all the colors and stuff.
Child. Foolish.
I just want to say that I appreciate Chris Brown like as an artist and entertainer and his overall like talent, because yes, he does R&B well, but he also does this thing called rapping well. He's also an actual great like painter. He has really good fashion sense. Like he just like overall, it's like he got a lot of tangible talents that lie within him, but he's also about that life. And I just appreciate the consistency that he has through and through, like as an artist.
Yeah, we never heard of Chris Brown ducking smoke from literally anybody. Nobody.
Anyone.
Never heard
Yeah.
of that.
Anyone.
Stand up, VA. I see you.
So I found a little timeline. The fight was at the June 2017 BET Awards after Quavo started dating Karrueche.
Mm.
So it's been 7 years
My God.
of beef. Neither one of these people date this person anymore. This person has moved on with her life, and they still beefing.
So was Chris Brown mad that Quavo was dating Karrueche, or did Quavo say something crazy about Karrueche and Chris Brown was like, hey, nah?
I think the only way Chris Brown could have been mad is if him and Quavo were cool on some kind of level beforehand. Because other than that, like she could go date anybody. Like, why you mad at him?
I don't know. This is not a full timeline of the beef, but it said Chris Brown is the one that approached Quavo at the BET Awards. And it's this, I found another timeline. It says Brown reportedly felt betrayed that Quavo dated Tran as he considered him one of his good friends.
Yep, see, they was cool. Yep, there you go.
Cool.
All right, well, we got it done.
Brown didn't think that so remember Karrueche filed a restraining order against Chris Brown.
Mm-hmm.
This says, according to TMZ, Brown didn't think it was a mere coincidence that she only filed so she could freely date Quavo. Which, I mean, why would she need a restraining order to freely date Quavo unless she thought you was finna attack her? But anyway. And then they had the altercation backstage.
So I have a question for Doug since he's the guy on here. So is that like going against like bro code or something? Like if you cool, what you date your homeboy's ex, or like what's the rules of engagement on that?
I mean, that's absolutely against bro code, but it really just depends on what level of bros you are. If you're just an acquaintance, then I mean, I don't think either person can be mad. But if that's your dog, like y'all cool, y'all have an understanding, and yeah, 100% against the rules. But I feel like white people be doing that. Like if one of them die or get divorced, they be dating.
Oh, they did.
I feel like they get in that bag. That's their bag right there.
That's exactly what they do.
But is that just bro code? Because I feel like I would never date one of your exes, research team. Like that would be weird.
Correct. But I think like as a girl code, like I don't know if I necessarily believe in like girl code per se, because I'm not attracted. I'm just not attracted to any of my friends. Like we have such different tastes. Like it's not even, that would never be an option for me. You know what I mean? Like I would never like date or like try to talk to one of twins' exes or vice versa. Like we just two different people. Like it's like we don't even have the same taste. So that would never be an issue. But I honestly wouldn't. I don't know. I feel differently. Like the person that my ex was with me may not be the same person he is with his, current or future partner. So we would literally have two different experiences with two different people. Like, you know what I mean?
We would, but I don't think that would. I think we would still feel some type of way if somebody close to us dated
Yeah.
or like a ex, not somebody that you just messed with. And I think that's the
Okay.
difference. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think men still be kind of mad even if you just messed with the
Yeah.
girl. Dub, you can tell us if we wrong. I'm not a man. Sometimes it seems like men still be mad even if you just messed with the girl and it's not like a true. It
Yeah.
wasn't like a true
Relationship.
relationship. See, and I think that's the difference because I wouldn't
Mhm.
care if you messed with somebody that I used to mess with.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I agree along those lines. Like if it was just nothing like no serious, but if we was like, oh no, this is like a 4-year committed relationship
Right.
we was in, I would definitely feel some type of way.
Correct. But if y'all just used to fuck around, I don't care.
These Negroes for everybody. So yeah.
Is that fair, Dub?
Um,
No.
I don't know. If they used to just mess around. Like I'm probably like, no, whatever. I don't care. Especially if I ain't with the chick no more.
Right. I don't care. So they asked Karuchi what she thinks, and I just felt like
Lord.
that was unnecessary because
Oh no.
girl
What she
has
said?
been victimized enough. And I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just not a man. Beefing over a girl that you both of y'all used to date and nobody is currently with is kind of crazy to me.
From 7 years ago, bro.
From
That's the wild part.
seven,
Like,
7 years, and then they was talking about Sweetie too.
Oh
Nobody,
yeah.
either of these women. So what are we
bro,
doing?
7 years. Don't they say like when you file for bankruptcy, like it come off your credit after like 7 years or something? This one need to come off of their little beef credit thing. They need to let this go.
Do we know how it got back rejuvenated this time though?
I don't think it ever ended. I think people were just lying and just waiting. Cause I think the track that he recorded, he had it and he was just like holding it.
Waiting.
Like, yeah, like it was just like, nah, I'ma say this. So
I
yeah.
want to say it got drummed up recently. Was it All-Star Weekend? They were sitting courtside next to each other.
No. It was that fashion thing where he didn't want to mess up his bag. Chris was like,
Oh,
I ain't gonna mess up my
Right.
bag.
So
Yeah.
somebody was being messy, sat them next to each other. The internet, Twitter, whatever, X, whatever you want to call it, Black Twitter. Somebody brought up that they had beef, and I think it kind of just spurred up again because I think Chris put out a tweet or an Instagram post saying, "Nah, don't get it twisted. Like it's still beef." It was something along those
Yeah.
lines.
oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
like, no, I just didn't want to mess up my money. I was like, all right, well, at least we're getting smarter about, how you engage with the people.
I saw, yes, mature. I saw that first of all that track was fire. Okay. The Brown, y'all know I stand for Chris Brown. The Brown is not to be with, okay?
Ever.
An all-around artist.
Mm.
I with it. I was like, "Oh, not y'all waking up the true artist and Christopher." Love it. I love to see it.
Now I'm thinking about how they was sitting courtside next to each other. I know them were fuming.
Particularly the Brown,
I
because
know
I
they was
saw,
mad.
it's a bunch of rap beef going on. I saw somebody that was like, Chris Brown is the only person that I feel like will run up on you and swing for real in
Hello?
person out of all these. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Because Chris Brown, I feel like this will swing on anybody.
He about that life.
He
Oh
about
yeah, you don't remember him trying to hit Drake upside the head with the champagne bottle some years ago?
Wait, what?
Yeah, they got the brawling in some club. Breezy was throwing champagne bottles.
bruh.
I
This
missed
can't be
that.
something that only I know. Nah, this got to be like probably around that same time, maybe older than that. Clearly before it was before they pieced it up and made what was that song? That fire song. I can't remember. But yeah, before they pieced it up.
Chris Brown don't have light skin energy. I feel like it's giving dark skin energy all day.
Yeah, they had did a thing on that. Like he's definitely.
Yeah,
I was
he got
joking telling my
Black
friend
Air
like,
Force's energy.
yeah, he's that.
He do.
He gives that.
Speaking of Drake, what's
Speaking
up?
of Drake, Drake is getting Kendrick the out of here.
Okay, Doug,
Yeah.
give us a
I'm waiting.
timeline of. Give us a quick summary of the Drake Cole Kendrick beef.
Quick summary. Okay, they both pretty much came out around the same era in music, maybe 2009 to 2010ish, 11ish. They've always had like, you know, gentlemen's competition and beef throughout their 15 years or whatever. They both been the big three of rap or whatever. This particular recent beef started on Future Metro's album We Don't Trust You. Was it, I don't remember which track number it was, but it was a song called Like That. Future, who also has beef with Drake, and Metro, who has beef with Drake, they allowed Kendrick to have a verse. The final verse on the Like That song, this and Drake instantly went, well, Drake and Cole instantly went to number one, was number one for about 4 weeks now.
Why they diss Cole? Wait, go ahead with the timeline.
No, it was Kendrick saying there is no big three, it's just Big Me. So he's responding that was in response to Drake and Cole's song First Person Shooter, which was number one. That was off Drake's last album. I forgot which was it, All the Dog for All the Dogs? I think that's what it was. So he's like saying, "Oh, there is no big three, it's just Big Me." And then obviously that spurred up the beef. You know what I'm saying?
That was spur of any beef, though. Like, really? But go ahead. Sorry.
That was for what?
Go ahead, research team.
I said I feel like that would stir up any beef. Like you just, like if anyone said that. But go ahead.
But why did Drake and Cole diss him in the first place?
Kendrick dissed them first.
Unprovoked?
So
Unprovoked, yeah. First Person Shooter was just a song that they had together.
Oh, okay. We got you now.
Yeah, so J. Cole got out his body, you know, and made a diss towards Kendrick. He was the first, basically, he sacrificial lambed himself for no reason, because 3 days later after the song, what was it, 7 Minute Drill, on his last mixtape / album, he came back and apologized for dissing Kendrick, which is wild. Like, how you diss somebody, then apologize and say you don't want no problems. Like, really?
Wait. He said sorry?
Yeah, his Dreamville festival, he got on stage and said, "Sorry, like, I didn't really want to do that. I've been losing sleep,
Okay.
Like,
oh, sir.
Tupac and Biggie rolling over in their grave, boy.
Why? Right.
Exactly.
Why would you? This is a rap beef. Why would you apologize?
This is a rap beef. If you truly believe you're the best rapper, say that. Say whatever. Who cares? Like, but now that's some light skin energy.
No, that is
like you throw and then hide your hand. Nah, don't do that.
Was Cole this good?
It was pretty good. It was like lukewarm. It wasn't like super disrespectful or nothing like that. It was cool. He was rapping good, but the minute he apologizes, it becomes trash.
Yeah, that. I feel like. Well, I got another question. Why did Kendrick just come out of nowhere and like, yeah, it's just me?
They've always, the three of them have mainly Drake and Kendrick. They've always thrown like little shots here and there on albums or songs, but you would have to read between the lines in order to know who they talking about, and it's never definitive. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing he hears uh Cole and Drake on a song. It's like, man, because everybody always say they're pretty much the three biggest rappers for the most part. Just consistently wise, I'd say. Other rappers obviously have had their little stints of whatever, but they've been here for the last 15 years for us consistently. So he sees the two of them do a song and he like, oh nah, it ain't no big three. It's just me. I'm the best or whatever. And then that was it.
Now you are our resident Drake fan, Dub.
I am biased, resident beef analyst, yes.
So you feel like Drake killing everybody.
Drake did put out a disc basically addressing everybody, Future, Metro, Ross, Kendrick. He even dissed Cole slightly. Um, he dissed John Moran, who is a basketball player. That's wild. So basically anybody could have got it on that song, which was on what was that song called? Anyway, I forgot the name of the first disc. But yeah, he was biting everybody. Kendrick has not responded yet. Drake released another song where he was rapping as Tupac and Snoop, dissing Kendrick some more. Kendrick still ain't said nothing, and it's been weeks now. I think he getting Kendrick out of here, and there are some more deep dives in this whole beef, but we don't have to go into that right now. There's still some things we're waiting to be seen.
What he said about Ross and what Ross said in response.
Ross had, I guess, unfollowed Drake some weeks ago, or who knows how long ago, because supposedly Drake sent a cease and desist to French Montana for some song or something that he didn't want coming out or whatever that Drake was on, but he didn't want to be on the song anymore or whatever. It was something along those lines. The Drake and Ross beef is actually funny because it's more of them. Well, they've had off and on beef like for a long time. They'll beef, then they'll make up, then they'll beef, then they'll make up, then they'll beef, and then make up. And whenever they make up, they make these amazing songs together, which is crazy. So they secretly like each other. So their beef isn't that serious. Their beef is funnier because it's more about trolling each other. Like they talking about each other's jets and who got more money. It's really hilarious. So Ross was on Instagram saying Drake got a 1978 plane that he got for free, and people gave it to you, blah 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 blah. Drake came back and said you got that timeshare jet with a wrap on it. So whenever it's the other people's turn, you got to take your wrap off the plane. Like they are really being funny about it.
I feel like as a Kendrick, Drake, Cole fan, and someone who has seen all three in concert, I feel like Kendrick is the better artist overall. Lyrically, I don't know. I
People, people,
feel like people underestimate Drake lyrically, but I don't know if I'm prepared to say he's the best lyricist out of all three.
I think over Kendrick is definitely. I don't know. People say that he's the best lyricist, not in my opinion. Like just because he's saying something that makes you think real hard to
Right.
understand it doesn't mean that it's dope. But Drake has this way of being lyrical and making it easy to digest and
That's
sound
true.
good. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's the best to me, and that's my opinion. But Cole also has an argument. Um, yeah, it's whatever your taste is. I think Drake overall is the biggest and best.
I like him in rap beefs. I still back to back, still one of my favorite
Drake
back to back,
don't
like
duck no
William
smoke,
Westby
and he
never
makes
check.
rap. He makes beef songs
Yeah,
sound good.
he does. And that is important. And I think that gets lost sometimes. And when we're talking about good rappers, like great rappers, sometimes I feel like people underestimate the ability to make a good song in addition to being a good lyricist. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. I don't know about the AI part. I feel like I'm sort of a music purist, so I'm a bit biased. I and I'm in a weird space with AI personally. I feel like people kind of overusing it, and sometimes it's like, yes, I could use AI for this, but should I? And is it really enhancing the product, or am I just using AI just to use it? And I think Drake using AI took away from it the musicality of it all for me a bit.
I personally thought the AI was really creative to obviously they're Drake lyrics because they're rapping like Drake, but it's Tupac's voice and Snoop's voice. I thought that was pretty dope. That Snoop verse, well Snoop AI verse that Drake spit with Snoop's voice, he was getting on that first like that snapping. I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was pretty creative. I heard supposedly Tupac's estate is trying to sue Drake, but they won't get a dime because there are no rules for AI yet. So
And that is why I've been trying to tell people AI has far surpassed when it should have been regulated. And I feel like I am excited a bit as a technologist just to see all the different ways people can use AI because it's just a free for all. So I like it from that perspective. But musically, I'm like, I don't know. And speaking of Tupac, I feel like the best diss record of all time is still Hit 'Em Up. Okay,
it's up there. It's up there for
ain't
sure.
nobody touching that for me personally. Okay, first off, in the click you claim, Dub, you gonna have to edit a lot of
Hmm.
stuff on this.
Oh yeah, well, P ain't here to keep us in check, but yeah, I got it. I got it.
I can't be trusted alone.
Mm. He came out hard with that. That
Okay,
is up there.
Who Pop?
and that goes to what we were talking about, Dub. It's also a good song. Like you can just ride to it.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
What
I'm
about
excited to see where like AI goes as well, but I don't want it to take away from like the organicness or try to replace like the human like connection
right?
that sometimes technology can play. Like it's like, yeah, you have all these great things, the coding's great, but there's something intuitive about humans that can't be put into technology. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just
I agree.
I think this Drake thing is okay because the lyrics is Drake written all over it. So Drake wrote it and performed it. He just put a different voice on it. So I think that's okay because in there you can still hear Drake's musicality and the way he flows and the way he raps and the way he puts words together. It's just another voice.
I see what you're saying. Well, I hope more is to come, and I hope Kendrick responds. So we'll see.
According to Drake, Kendrick can't release none without Taylor Swift. So
Ooh,
we gonna see. Oh yeah, it's a very deep, dark thing going on in this music
oh
thing
my
right now.
God.
It's crazy. Uh-huh.
Right.
But a boy Bryson Tiller put out a great album. I did give it one listen.
It's
He
good.
back.
I'm gonna listen.
Oh yeah, he back.
okay, I'm gonna listen.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that a listen.
Y'all remember when he came out? What was that, like 2012-ish, 13-ish probably?
Yeah.
And he had like his own little vibe. It was different R&B style.
Yeah, I
He done
appreciate
found another, gear. He back. So
it.
I think
Hey,
I think he
okay.
back in his bag.
I was thinking about him the other day, and I was like, I remember when he came out, and I did not think that he would still be around this long later. So I'm gonna give it a listen because he's doing something good over there. Shall we shift to R&B for a second?
Let's
Wait,
do
did
it.
we talk about Future and Metro album?
It was a tidbit in the Drake beat, so we don't have to cover it. But they did put out two albums. We Don't Trust You, and then a week later they put out We Still Don't Trust You. and now they're going on tour with the "We Trust You" tour.
Did you like both of them, one or the other?
I only heard the first one. It was cool. It was cool.
I'm listening to it because I heard mixed reviews, but I didn't even realize they put out a second one. So I'm gonna give it a listen. I'm gonna give both of them a listen. Shifting to R&B.
Okay.
What you got for us?
Well, I feel like y'all are the more of the like the R&B hit. I mean the hip hop heads, and I'm more of like adjacent to the hip hop, but I'm really, R&B lover of all, things that talk about love. I just wanted to kind of get y'all's opinions on a few things, but I know we didn't go over this when it came to music, but these ladies are considered like R&B artists. Quick question: Alicia Keys, Sierra, and Ashanti, what do they all have in common? Go.
They all fine.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Yep, that's what I was finna say.
I know that's what you wasn't going for, but
Hey, did y'all look at it? That's not.
they
That's
all
not what the
of
notes. That's not a part of the
the
notes.
lighter hue.
We gonna make you say it.
Yeah.
Research team.
We are.
Just of course, it's my opinion, but I think all of these ladies have really great song choice. However, vocally, they're not there. And that's okay. I'm not saying like that's a bad thing, but I think because they have their particular song choice and they stay within their range, it works for them. But I don't think they're your singer's favorite singer. You know what I'm saying? They're not like a Brandy or even like a Beyonce or
I agree, and I would say that Sierra understands that, but the other two, not so sure if they know.
yeah, like Sierra is really good at staying in her lane and making sure the song fits her range.
But I think, and I don't know how true this is, but just as somebody from Atlanta, and I remember when Sierra came out, Sierra wanted to dance, but back then it was easier to sing, and make it as a singer than a dancer. And I remember they kind of like made her into an artist. I think she went to North Atlanta or Tri-Cities, one of them performing arts schools. And back then it was hard to be just a dancer. You know what I'm saying? And so I remember them kind of molding her into this Atlanta singer, but we all really knew that she was a dancer.
That
You know
was
what
her.
I'm saying?
Okay.
I think
Oh.
that's why she knows how to stay in her lane. Ashanti girl, I don't know if this came up because of that clip research team. I thought Ashanti knew that about
Was she doing the Whitney Houston? Where she was trying to sing the Whitney Houston song? You talking about that clip?
Okay. Why? I thought Ashanti knew to stay in her lane as well. Why?
What makes me like really like bummed out about like the Ashanti thing is that her sister can really sing. Like her sister's voice is bomb. And I'm like, what happened? Yeah. Her sister can really sing, and I don't understand how she missed out on the industry.
As fine as Ashanti.
Because that's the answer right there. That's the answer.
And remember, there was a look in the early 2000s, and that was when all the rap boys had one fine girl in the group. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably what happened. But is the sister fine? I ain't seen her. What you finna
I
say?
don't know, but I know she's like a younger sister, so she may have not even been old enough to be like really serious about it. Because I think Ashanti is older, and that's her younger sister.
My little 2 cents.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know if I'll put Alicia Keys in here. I think she's kind of in a different
was on the fence.
category.
Yeah.
I think what it is with Alicia Keys, she has a very specific tone and probably range that she's supposed to be in, but I think her sellability or I would consider her an international star. So she gets a lot of placements on these award shows and national anthems and stuff like that, which is probably not what she should be singing. So she ends up straining and cracking and sounding crazy. But I don't think she's out of, I think she sings pretty well. I think her obviously her tone and the raspiness in her voice is what makes her voice nice. And it just doesn't lend to when she's singing like all these big songs on award shows and all this stuff. Now these other two, they can't really sing. I'm just I'm just let them be in the class all by themselves.
I was thinking about that. I do feel like Alicia Keys has a voice and she's an artist and she can sing, but it doesn't translate that well live sometimes. And
right.
I will be honest, some of these artists don't be really practicing and working on their vocals like they should. Like sometimes it's given that Alicia Keys just be coming out there on the piano, no warm up, none of that. And I've seen, I have artists in my life, so I've seen singers like really do the most, and when they and people who can really sing, if they don't do, their warm ups and stuff, they don't be sounding good. So I think I agree, Dub. I do think she kind of in another, but if we're talking about live singing, yeah,
I was talking about singing in general, but definitely not live for Alicia. Like she sounds like, but maybe that's the thing. Maybe I'm biased because I prefer like live music versus, you know what I'm saying? Because I'd be out there at the concerts, like no vocals, like mic on type life, but she's not.
It's not giving Whitney.
Yeah, she's just. You were disappointing at the Super Bowl, man. You had one job, and you sound like what?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked but people get nervous too.
You're right. But the expectation is that because you're an artist and you do this, you need to stay like super in your pocket or in your like comfort, whatever, like, no matter what, I'm always hit this note. Whatever that space is, stay there for this. You know what I'm saying? Don't pick Super Bowl to try something new out your range. Girl.
You're right. Side note, Ashanti's sister is not as fine as she is. So
dang.
I didn't want to say it, but thank you.
I didn't want to say it either, but well, now we know why. But
yeah, that's exactly why. Speaking of Super Bowl, shall we shift to sports?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's talk about sports. So right now we're in the thick of the first round of the NBA playoffs. My Miami Heat are in there. We probably gonna guess what, but at least we made it.
Hey, we made it into the come
on. Twins Hawks. The end. LeBron's still in it.
You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to. I was gonna skip right on over that. You didn't even have to bring us up. Okay.
Y'all had a good. Well, yeah.
Did we?
Disrespect.
Honestly, once the Heat are out and LeBron's out, because LeBron's on the way out as well, they are down 3-1 to the Denver Nuggets. I will probably not be watching the playoffs anymore until the final series because I don't care about what happens in between.
Shout out to the Hawks for
Dang.
losing to the Bulls and being eliminated. But you
Yeah,
know,
shout out to the Hawks. They got some good players over there. What's his name? DeJounte Murray. He turned up this year when Trae Young got hurt, and the other young kid, Jalen Johnson, he gonna be a monster. So the Hawks got a decent little future if they stay with the core that they have.
but you know how Atlanta sports do. I gave up hope, after 28 and 3. I just, it is what it is.
Speaking
But
of
people still
Atlanta
be going to the
sports,
games, so people still be supporting.
That's
oh
because
yeah, they going to the game for sure.
it's fun. We going to the game. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go have us a drink and have a good time. But we be getting our hopes up, and then they do the Atlanta, and we be like that. And then the next season we be right back. But speaking of 28 and 3, why?
For our viewers,
Why?
listeners, we did have the NFL NFL draft this weekend. The Falcons did have pick number 8. I was actually in the building, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, at the draft party. As a Dolphins fan, I was Dolphin down amongst a bunch of Falcons, and it was great because y'all pick at number 8 was none other than Michael Penix Jr. from Washington. He is a starting quarterback. Why did I say y'all? This is an unbiased podcast. Anyway, he is a starting quarterback, and Atlanta just paid a starting quarterback $200 million.
Gee,
Twin?
what's the rationale? What's the strategy?
Let's just have a moment of silence.
So amongst probably 4 to 5,000 Atlanta Hawks fans, because it was for Atlanta Hawks members only, all you could hear in the crowd was "what?" Like it was wild in there, and everybody was shocked. It
Why?
was pretty crazy.
Why? I mean, maybe you tell me, Dub, please, as a sports fan, please tell me why. Tell me the rationale. Because I saw one Falcons fan who is my friend from high school, like, y'all stupid. This was a great decision on the Falcons' part. And I just can't, I don't see any
They
angle.
just trying to justify. I think I do have a small angle of what it could be. I think they could have originally wanted to get Penix Jr. from the beginning before they even signed Kirk Cousins
In the first place.
But I don't think that they could have had a black head coach and a black quarterback simultaneously. So they sign a white quarterback for a lot of money, have the black kid back him up for now, and then he'll probably start in a year or two. I think that's what's going on. It's a lot to think about. I know. But the Falcons fans, they were expecting to get a D tackle, I think, and ended up getting a quarterback, which they didn't need. So definitely something going on there. But
I mean,
hopefully the logic pans out.
I gave up on that organization after 28 and 3. Like, I really used to put my heart and soul into the Falcons. Everybody that knows me knows that. And I really had to take a step back, y'all, because it was causing me unnecessary stress. And I have felt a lot more at peace ever since I released them from my aura. Okay. And I thought I was doing better. I didn't even watch the draft. So I was like, this I'm sorry, Dub. You really gonna have to edit this one. I ain't even watch it. As soon as I went to Twitter, all my
All
friends,
good.
WTF. I'm like, what the Falcons done did now? Why? Okay.
WTF? What the Falcons? Look at that. See what
What
you
the
you ain't even noticed. Look at that.
what in the 28-3? I was still mad. I thought I had released them from my system, y'all, and I was still mad. So shout out to the Falcons who gonna break my heart for the end of time. And maybe I can become a Dolphins fan. Who did y'all get?
We welcome everybody. I actually don't know who the Dolphins took in the first round. I was there for the 21st pick, was not paying attention because the Dolphins weren't dying for anybody that we needed specifically. Our team is pretty good, which is why our picks were so late. Um, we did need some or want some big uglies. I think we got a tackle or a defensive tackle in the first round. But we gonna be straight. We're not banking on who we picked up in the draft, so Dolphins will be all right. Don't have much to say about the Dolphins right now. Go fans. That's it.
How was the party?
I had a blast. It was really fun. I'm gonna try to go again next year if I could get some tickets somehow. Not being a member or whatever. I just looked up on some tickets this year.
Oh, I was gonna ask you how you got them tickets. I saw your story. I was like, oh, that looked fun.
It
But
was
I would have been
very,
pissed off.
very fun. Oh, and also, by the way, I really wish State Farm Arena would adhere to Mercedes-Benz Stadium concession stand prices because MBS they got decent prices, like
Baby.
$5-6 for stuff. You know what I'm saying? For
State Farm
combos.
is so ridiculous.
State Farm is crazy. Like, what y'all got going on over there?
Have I been to State Farm?
Yes, for the
They do most of concerts at State Farm.
Oh, is that the one where they was like, you gotta have the special cups?
Yeah, they've been tripping.
Oh yeah. Oh, we only accept cards and not cash. Them same folks.
Yeah.
State Farm like $12 for popcorn, like $16 for burgers and hot dogs. I'm like, what is going on? MBS $7 for hot dog and fries total.
Yeah,
burger $6, burger and fries. Crazy.
I think they got a JR Crickets and State Farm. Shout out to JR Crickets, best wings ever. Why is a 10-piece and fries like $25? State Farm, get it together. What we need to do? Do we need to petition? I agree. That's why I used to go to the Falcons games. I used to go to Falcons games all the time. Hawks game. I went to like 2 Hawks games, and every time it's time to go, I'm like, I don't know about the Hawks. I'm gonna spend $200 at the Hawks game.
Crazy. I don't know what they, but I do remember. Shout out to Arthur Blank for this, but when he was building the new stadium, he said that he wanted to keep concession prices affordable. I think even before COVID, stuff was like $2, $3.
Dang.
Shout out to him for that. I mean, he cool for that. He cool for that.
I agree.
Because it's not like you getting more.
Exactly. You're not. And you're not.
But I mean, you having affordable prices in the stadium is gonna make people want to come to the games.
Exactly.
They probably had to do that for the Falcons though, because the Falcons be pissing us off. So we got to have one reason to at least
the money somehow.
Yeah. You got to keep people in the building. Well, shall we switch to 3LWB? What's the old WB frog? What he used to do, y'all? Don't y'all remember?
He used to dance around in Coon.
With that hat on?
I didn't want to say that, but yeah.
That's what he was doing. If you really think about it, they tried us.
It's literally what I thought came to mind.
We need to change the name of the segment.
Right. Now it's just like, let's just leave that to Black.
I don't like that part. got for us this week, research team?
Well, we'll work on the title for the future. But it looks like, I don't know if y'all heard Brian McKnight's new
Did
antics.
it?
So Brian McKnight, if y'all don't know, he's a former singer. I don't know what he's doing with his life for real these days. But he was previously married and had children. Then he got remarried and had another set of kids. For some reason, Brian McKnight is I have to say allegedly, but the worst of the worst when it comes to fatherhood, parents loving their children. I just, I don't understand. So he basically has disowned his previous kids from his first marriage and has just been like, basically saying like his new set of kids are the only kids he gonna acknowledge. Like, and this is not even being extreme. These words have like come out of his mouth. So my notes.
Name too.
What'd you say?
Didn't he change his name?
I think one of the kids had changed their names.
Didn't Brian say his first set of kids were created out of sin?
Yes.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. This man is trolling his own kids. I don't understand.
That's wild. That's real wild.
What he is going through as like, I don't know if this is like a cry for mental health, like a mental like issue he's having, but I heard somebody say
he changed his name. Brian changed his name so that his new son could be Junior now.
See, this is crazy.
Right, because one of his oldest sons is already named Brian McKnight Jr.
Yeah. That sounds,
mental illness.
I just like I put in the notes like every child deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a child. And I think this is one of those rare cases. My concern ultimately is the example he is setting for his second set of kids, because it's not like the internet deletes this stuff. And to the lady that he's married to now, ma'am, why are you still there? Like, do you really want to be in a relationship with somebody who treats their previous set of kids like this? What he gonna do?
Because he doing all this for her. That's why she there.
Correct.
Oh no, they both unwell.
So he doing this because the first set of family was out of wedlock.
It didn't work out well. Correct. But he had been removed from them. Like, this lady is not.
So he just never gonna speak to his previous kids ever again?
The relationship is severed. It is gone. No.
I saw him go back and forth with that oldest son.
It's really giving like that Monique and her first son energy.
Oh, it was giving that, because I was reading about both of those, I think, within the same day.
It's too much.
It was giving that. And as somebody who doesn't want kids, I don't understand how you can just abandon somebody that came from you. Like, you voluntarily brought people into the world. They weren't gonna be here if it wasn't for you.
Hello. You made the choice, not them.
So, and I'm not a parent, so Dub, you have more experience in parenting. But when I see stuff like this, I personally feel like it's on the parent to make things right with the child, unless there is some egregious circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the parent felt like they gave all that they can. They tried everything, but when there's a broken parent-child relationship, to me, I feel like the parents should do everything in their power to fix that.
I don't think he cares or wants to repair anything. He just
Well,
don't want nothing to do with him.
Which is crazy.
well, that sucks.
That's just like you don't. I think he has three kids, like older kids, and to me, I'm just like I don't understand like the dynamics that you're building between those siblings is wild, and then also like you're just a bad human, like you're literally just a bad human.
A lot of people are unwell. People are unwell, and the fact that that lady is still there and she finds nothing egregious about this situation, she unwell too. And they deserve each other. He probably gonna end up abandoning these kids as soon as they don't work out too. So I feel like there's a group of men who only want their kids as long as it's working out with the mother. And that's gross and sickening to me. But I think there is a subset of men out there like that. And he sounds like one of them. I would not be surprised if this don't work out and he change his name again and have another boy and try again.
No, just don't. Just stop. Like, no more kids need to come out of your sack, sir. Speaking of sack,
people,
correct. Everybody just need to just sterile. Speaking of like sacks, I don't know if y'all saw this story or this continuously unfolding story between Jeezy and his soon-to-be alleged ex-wife Jeannie Mai, where he is now seeking sole custody of their child that they have together.
I have been following to the extent that I can. Yes.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, what are y'all's thoughts on that? Not the divorce, but the Jeezy seeking sole custody. Like he want to be the primary parent.
I think he delusional. Well, go ahead, Dub. Go ahead.
I mean, I get it because if she has the child, then he got to pay child support. I understand why he's trying to do that.
He don't want to pay all that for not pay child support. Oh my God.
Yes, it'd be easier to hire a live-in nanny and pay child support.
Oh, this is. I ain't even think about it like that. That's crazy. Twin, what's your thought? What's your take?
I think he delusional if he think he finna get sole custody from an Asian lady in America, given his background and the current allegations against him. And I think he just being vindictive. I don't think he wants sole custody of that child. And I think it is not to pay child support because he know they coming for them pockets.
What allegations are you talking about? Are you talking about the weapons?
The weapons and the abuse allegations against Jeannie.
Did you see the weapon, the pictures of the weapons?
I saw that.
That didn't look contrived or planted to you.
I saw the only one I saw was the one of him walking around the house with the weapon. Well, allegedly him walking around the house with the weapon. I didn't see the one with the children.
I didn't see any pictures with the children. I saw him walking through the house with the weapon. I checked the timestamp. It was like 8:00 p.m. Like he could have just been moving it from the vehicle or whatever to he could have just came from the gun range. And the other one's like the one laying on the floor next to the bed and the two laying on the bed. Like that didn't look weird to you?
I don't know. I'm not saying that I feel like any of the allegations against him are true. I have no idea. I'm saying that I think he's deluding himself in thinking that the system would give him sole custody as opposed to believing this little Asian lady accusing an ex-drug dealer and known violent person of abuse and having guns around their child. Even if it's not true, I see the system believing it. And I don't know if I don't believe the abuse allegations, but you know how I feel about that. I'm a little bit biased, so
I think the weapon. I'm just really focused on the weapon thing right now because if those are fake or contrived, then who knows what's real or not.
that's true. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the weapons picture and the allegations. I feel like if those pictures are real, how long was they married?
3 years, I think. Something like
Yeah,
that.
it wasn't that long. It was less than 5.
I mean, you knew who you was marrying.
Allegedly.
I feel like acting shocked, even if it is true, I feel like acting shocked that a
You don't
thug
serve no.
got a whole bunch of guns around your child is kind of crazy.
You
But
knew that before.
right, you knew that for 3 years.
Before he had a child. Yeah.
So let's just stop that part. But it could be fake too. What you finna say, research team?
I was just gonna say, just in totality, I think it's crazy that he is seeking sole custody. And like the reasoning behind that he gave was that basically she is working a lot and she travels, and basically the child is left with the Jeannie's mama and Jeannie's brother, primarily, not with her.
Oh
I said,
yeah, I
so
can
what you think?
understand that. Yeah.
So what you
He
think?
said what? He said she'll
That
be
the child is
leaving.
basically not left with Jeannie all the time. She's primarily left with like relatives.
I think that was the issue in their marriage, was that she moved her family into the home. So
Correct.
I think he has an issue with whoever her family or the type of people that they are. So, but yeah, that could be a real genuine concern for him.
Right. But according to Jeannie Mai in previous, like when they were like dating, when they first got married, they were just so aligned on so many things and like family and how they view things. And I'm just like, where did
Straight
the
from the
alignment go?
publicist.
No, she said this when she was like doing an interview about like dating him and stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Straight from the publicist. Somebody, she's media trained basically. They wanted her to say that.
Child.
I mean, she's definitely media trained.
I mean, yeah, but it's just like you saying all these things that were just exceptionally great, and he's saying all these things that just are exceptionally great. Meanwhile, the Black community is still scratching their head, like, how did that even come about? But what else?
I mean, but frankly, I don't feel bad for either one of them because Jeezy said that about Black women, and Jeannie said she liked her
Jesus
dark
said
meat,
Jesus like to drink. Jesus like
and Jeannie liked her dark meat on the side. So they deserve each other, and I honestly don't care what comes out of this situation. It don't sound like a great situation for the child involved.
Right, I feel bad for her.
Hopefully it ends up well for the child and the child only, but the two of them can off for me.
Really gonna have to edit this one hard.
let's talk some love.
Well, let's go ahead and transition to a couple that I don't know how y'all will feel about, but congrats goes out to Ashanti and Nelly on their engagement and their first child together.
It's completely unrelated, but I saw this video on IG of his concert, but it was just like Nelly. That's it. I've seen Nelly in concert, but at festivals. So it's like a lot of different artists there. And of course, while you're waiting for an artist, you see Nelly. So it's hype. It's always been good. But I saw a clip of him, and it was his concert only, and that bitch was empty. And I was like, oh, I felt bad. 2004 in me felt bad for Nelly. Shout out to Nelly. But anyway, so they
That
engaged.
is unrelated, but yeah,
Yeah,
he got to read the room. He got to know, what type of venue he should be performing in.
I was like, why is Nelly going on tour by himself? You supposed to be at the festivals, Nelly. That's your bag. That's your bag.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. That was a detour.
It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, they're getting married and they're having their first child.
Congratulations for them. To them.
I think Ashanti is 42 now. 43. 42. Yeah. But how do you guys feel about them spinning the block decades later?
At first, I was like, man, but it's hard out here, man. People be unwell. Dating is trash. If they didn't break up for some egregious reason and they have both grown and matured and evolved, go for it. Because people crazy out here.
You know who hasn't matured or who has grown? His ex. Miss, I think her last name is Jackson. She was I know any, breakups are difficult, but when they're on this magnitude and it's kind of like in your face that the person you were dating for, I don't know, 10 plus years, never married you, y'all never had kids, and now y'all broken up, and within like 2-3 years, he marrying this chick and he got a kid with her. I could see how you could be a bit salty, bitter, angry, whatever the case may be. But I think
I'm not trying to victim blame, but I ain't dating nobody whose immediate ex is Ashanti.
Wasn't he with Ashanti before her though?
Yeah. But Twin is saying like she wouldn't have like dated Nelly because he dated Ashanti.
No, but I'm saying why is she mad if I guess okay they were together a long time, but
for a long time, and
he was with Ashanti before you.
Yeah, but he probably made it seem like he was over her. And I was gonna say this sometimes, and I'm again not victim blaming, but sometimes you gotta be able to recognize when somebody not over their ex and you are the stepping stone. And second of all, you shouldn't stay with a man past 2 years if you trying to get married and he kind of on the fence. Then you need to move on with your life and go figure out who you finna marry, girl. Because if you let a man, as someone who let a man play on her time for 10 years, some of that is your fault, girl.
Yeah, they were together for 7 years. Chantel Jackson.
You let that man play in your face. If your ex is Rihanna, I can't date you.
I feel like it doesn't matter who the ex is. However, if we don't have a common goal that's like progressing toward marriage, and if you haven't, like, I think everyone, at least in my point of view, I knew he wasn't finna marry the Chantel lady. I knew he was like, it's still like that hoping and praying, because it's not like Ashanti and Nelly broke up on, like you said, egregious terms. They were just going in separate, like their career paths were like blowing up. So it was like, hey, we don't really have time to pour into this relationship like we should. And it's a lot of people in our relationship that shouldn't be. So you know what? It's not gonna work. But if the opportunity presents itself again, definitely I'm gonna run it back. And that's exactly what he was waiting for. He was like, yo, if I just hold out, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna hold the fort down with this one chick. I'm not gonna be a complete male gigolo, because I know Ashanti not gonna be with that. But I'm gonna show her that, hey, I could be faithful and be committed to one person. So when that time comes, I'm sliding. I'm 10 toes down. And I think that was his plan from jump.
That's why you got to read the room.
And just,
I feel like you can tell if a man is really into you and wants to settle, or if you a placeholder for his ex. If you
Correct.
pay attention. But also, it does matter if your ex is Ashanti. It matters to me. I can't date you. Won't.
I just,
I
I
won't.
suppose.
Uh, uh, Whatever. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna leave it alone.
No, go what? What you
No,
got?
no, 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 no. I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
Well, congrats to
Good luck
them.
to them. Hopefully
I
that
wish
baby
them the
growing
best.
up in a loving environment, and hopefully they have a sick wedding. And I want to see the pictures because both of them fine.
Yeah. I hope they
They said she gonna have an apple bottom dress.
oh my gosh. I can't.
Why would you say that?
I can't.
What you mean? That's his company. Of
Oh,
course,
that's
she
funny.
he
Are they
gonna make
still
her fit.
together?
Apple bottom A-line dress.
Hey,
Wow.
shout out to Nelly though, for real. While we laughing at apple bottoms, Nelly was really one of the first to try to make it work for us big booty bitches. Okay, and I love him for that.
Nah,
He
he
made
ain't try. He made it work.
he did a need.
They were huge.
Yes. Okay. Nelly crawled so Fashion Nova could fly. Shout out to Nelly and Apple Bottoms. Okay.
I like that. Good one. Good one.
Thank you, Nelly. I would still buy apple bottoms. If I be at the City Trends, if I see a pair of apple bottoms, I'm going to get some. Thank you, Nelly.
Shout out to Nelly. In other non-related news, I don't know if y'all have heard about B Simone's new podcast and just the drama behind that. So for those of you who don't know, B Simone had a podcast with her really her best friend, and it was like one of those really inspirational podcasts, like really focused on like deepening relationships you have with people, and just like one of those like dive deep podcasts. Unfortunately, they had like what we would call like a friendship breakup, and it just happened to take place all over the internet. Her friend was Megan. I forgot her last name, but her name is like Megan Ashley. There we go. Yeah. So they were really good friends. They've known each other for years. Megan went through like a divorce. She has a kid that I think is autistic. But she was still like pouring into the friendship and the business. And long story short is that B Simone like walked away from the friendship and the business because it just allegedly wasn't like serving her anymore. So Megan Ashley went and got her own podcast, which is like it fits her brand. It's very good. She's very like in touch with her feelings. She's emotionally intelligent. She's spiritual, etc., etc. So she really has like deep thought conversations and living on purpose with God and stuff like that. And B Simone now has launched her new podcast, Let's Try It Again, which is like supposed to be about resilience and really like standing on what God is telling you to do. So we all know B Simone is more of like a comedian and content person. That's where her bag lies. So a lot of people are on the fence, or either like, yeah, we like it, or no, we don't, because of the trailer. The trailer basically is about all these naysayers and haters coming in, and then there's a podcast like set, and there's a chair like for another host to sit in, and she's like, what is this doing on here? Remove that. And then it just becomes just her. So people are saying like that was a bit like extra. Like, we got it. You didn't have to like pull that trigger, but I've listened to both and I enjoy both. And I just take it for how people's personalities are. Like, I think they balance each other well, but being real, like, people grow apart and people like lead different lives. Like, it happens. Theirs just so happened all over the internet, which made it worse.
What? Why did the friends break up?
I think it was just like they wanted to like go down different paths. They really don't tell like in detail what happened. They just kind of was like, we're doing our own thing now. Accept it or leave it. And it's just like, what? So people are doing a lot of speculating that, B. Simone was like the mean girl of the group, whereas Megan was pouring more into the business and the friendship and really trying to like grow and next level it up. So
they had the podcast together. It was them two.
Yeah.
What's the name of it? I'm gonna check it out.
It was dang. If you wouldn't have said it, no, for sure.
We'll look it up and tell me.
No, that's what it's called. No, for sure.
No, for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's the name of the podcast when they together. No,
and
for
what's
sure.
The new one?
The new one is In Totality for Megan's podcast, and then Let's Try This Again for B. Simone's podcast.
Oh, so they both launched individual ones. So of the three, you listen to all three?
Yes, I used to. The one that they had together, it don't run no more. Like, it's ain't no new episodes. It's over.
You like them all equally?
I wouldn't say I like them all equally. I think for me, I preferred the No For Sure, because it was balanced. It's like you have someone who's like a comedian and someone who's like a little bit more, I won't say like playful and lighthearted, and then Megan kind of brought like the seriousness or like the depth to the conversations a little bit more. So I appreciate the balance. Now they're just doing it like individually. So sometimes I don't want to be emotionally triggered like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to dive that deep. So I don't always watch like the Megan like podcast. And then sometimes I, if I want a little bit more lightheartedness, depending on what I have going on in life, I'll watch B. Simone's podcast. But I think they're equally great in their own like space, but I would prefer them together because of the balance.
I feel like it always sucks when partners or a group of people produce a really good product and then they end up not seeing eye to eye and having to go their separate ways. It's like, I mean, I get it, but it's like y'all couldn't work it out for the sake of the end product.
No, I think it was taking like a toll on them, like emotionally, mentally, they friend groups. Because it's like, when you like break up from someone just in general, that's a toll on the individuals. And then like the ripple effect are like people who were connected to those individuals. So it's like now it's just like, and mind you, most people do this in private, so it's not this amplified either.
That's true.
So people don't have to like live it in their face front page every day.
That's why I don't care to be famous. I hope they work it out though, but also,
oh no, I think it's no. It's
over.
Yeah, I don't even think we
Here's
ain't talking.
a question.
I ain't texting with you. I ain't saying,
How many episodes of the podcast that they have together?
You said what? Say it again.
How many episodes did they have of their podcast together?
I don't know, like a bunch. They went on like tour and stuff. Like it was a really good. They had merch. They had journals. Like it was doing it. It was like their number. I think it was almost their number. It was like a number one podcast on like Spotify. It was big. It was pretty. From a revenue growth point, it was chinging. Okay. They were. It was definitely a good source of income financially.
Oh no, for sure. Like
yeah. ANOW. And they had like a bunch of people on there. Tabitha Brown, like they had like really good like people on there. So now it's just people gotta like pivot and do their own thing. So it's interesting.
Well, I wish them the best
Me
on
too.
their own. That
Me,
sucks.
me too, child. And then last but not least, I think is your question. That's the one you added, twin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of breakups,
Right.
another one bites the dust, y'all. I was dating someone for a year ish, and now that's over. And I feel like that has brought up a question that I've been experiencing in my short dating journey. Do y'all really feel like men want a woman that doesn't need him, like financially, or like she's not dependent on him at all? Like a completely super independent woman. I feel, and I have said before that I am like hyper independent. So I'm definitely on the extreme end when it comes to being independent. And I feel like men a lot of times they say they want someone like me, but then when they get with me, it like somehow challenges their masculinity. And I feel like most of the women I know, like 5 of my friends are getting married right now. They're engaged. And I feel like when I think about the people who are in relationships and like thriving, they definitely are not as independent of a person as I am. And they're not like super dependent, but they definitely are able to become that in a relationship. And I feel like I'm always me the same all the time. Like I don't necessarily become this like submissive or wifey type person in relationships. I'm the same. And for some reason I feel like that threatens maybe a certain type of man. I don't know. But what are y'all thoughts? I've just been pondering on this for the past few weeks. And I want to know what y'all think. And listeners, write in, tell me what y'all think too.
Well, me personally, yes, I do prefer a woman that doesn't need me, and it's not so much. Well, I guess financially, because as a man, we generally try to, we take care of the household or whatever, but we like knowing that whatever happened to us, you'll be all right if we ain't here. That's how I think about it.
I like that.
Um, I'm not a I'm not a dude, but I think everyone wants to, or every guy wants to feel like needed in some form, whether that's emotionally, financially, whatever the case may be. Um, because if you, this is just me in my head, if you don't need anyone, then what is the point of relationship? Like, what is the point? Like, what are we trying to build if, there are things that you have or qualities that you have that I don't, that we can work on together to build like an empire. So I think there's some level of like need in both individuals. Like you need a woman to nurture and to take care of certain aspects of the household, whereas you need a man to take certain um take care of certain aspects of the household and have a different mindset than the woman, so we both can work toward the same goal to elevate. So I think there's some type of needed for both parties, if that makes sense.
I feel like when the need is emotional, that's when I feel like I don't know if certain type of men don't know how to feel that need. But I don't know, because I do. I mean, I feel like relationships are for emotional support and mental support and, you know, supporting each other. But sometimes I feel like when that isn't a tangible support that's needed, then that's when things get lost in translation.
So you're saying if it's like not money, that's
Like
then
money
it's
or like stuff
I'm a
like
build
taking out
this.
the trash and stuff. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like physical, tangible things. If it's
Mhm.
not, if you don't need them for that, then it's kind of like, well, what am I here for?
Right. Well, that would be, I mean, I feel like that is the case for certain men, but that's because they lack the ability to emotionally connect. And I think that's something that group of men have to work on, because I've been taking out the trash before you was here. I've been, you know what I'm saying? These are things that I've done tangibly for myself before you got here. So
Right.
what can you add to me as an individual? What can we add to each other as a unit, as a partnership together? And if all you can come up with is taking out the trash or adding to the financial stability of things, that's literally not enough.
It's not.
And you're not in a position to be in a relationship because you're not a well balanced human, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I feel like that's what happened in this last situation I was in. So RIP to that. Um, and I'm out here.
Yeah, but
Gentle.
I think there's some good takeaways and learning lessons to take from the previous situation. Not to mention, like, you kind of stepped out, and this is like a new experience for you, as far as like, okay, we're dating after the debacle of a not so good relationship. So I mean, this is like a good, feet wet, know what you like, know what you don't like, exercise, so to speak.
Yes.
Hot girl summer loading.
I was just about to say, fellas, your girl is out here, okay?
Gosh.
Ready and willing.
I guess I'm
Okay.
glad somebody's hot girl summer is living, because mine is not.
I'm out here. I was on the prowl yesterday at the festival, okay?
Not the proud. You know you about to you about to get the cougar age.
I
Not the
know.
proud.
I'm ready. That's why I got to get back in the gym. I'm ready to be a cougar. All the 25-year-olds. What's up?
Oh man.
What?
Okay.
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 What's up? Come holler at your girl. All right.
Please don't.
This has been great, y'all. I love y'all. I want to give research team some time to vent. We're going to end on shot o'clock because she been having a rough time. Let's go ahead and say as
What's going
little
on,
or as
research?
much as you want, girl.
What happened, Ada? What'd you say?
I was saying, damn, what happened, research?
Um, Without going into super detail on this, I'd hit you up in the chat. Because that's where all the bodies lie, in the chat. Got a new boss, and it's not really working out well. This person is coming in trying to build Rome. Rome has already been built and established. We just need to keep it clean. That's it.
Mm.
That's it. But this person is new to the organization, new to the role, and it's reverse ageism? Yeah, I think that's what it's called. reverse ageism toward me, and I don't have assistant in front of my title, so
Ooh.
I am not that either. Just so we're clear. But you know how I come into the room. I'm very confident in what I do. I'm very confident in my communication skills, organizational skills. And the lady she's just, I don't know if y'all have ever worked for someone who just comes in chaotic, don't know up from down every day, all day, and that's just how they function. But I don't work well
Mhm.
with those types of people. And I'm not even talking like personality wise. I'm very organized and detail oriented, which is what the job role asks for. But it also helps that I'm naturally like this as well. So certain things come to me like easily and innately. And for this individual who is supposed to be managing me, this is a foreign language. So the person only been on the job 2 months. And I'm just praying that I learn whatever lesson this is supposed to be and get up out of there.
Yeah.
Claiming promotion in a couple months. Like that's what it's really about. Like that's what I'm really focused on.
Yeah, I
Let me
was
go
just
ahead
about
and
to ask if you had an exit strategy or
you
something
know
you
I
trying to
always
get
do.
to. So,
You know I always
yep,
got one.
got to stay
I'm
ready.
already I already got accepted into this program at work, super prestigious. I don't even know how I got picked, but praise God.
What you
Cause
do?
you the shit.
None of
That's
that.
how you got picked.
Right. What you mean?
No,
Like,
I'm just saying. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. But I'm just like, a lot of people like seek to be into this program. So I don't even know what it's like. You don't know what the criteria, you just fill out the application and pray about it. That's really what you do. But I got into it. It goes from now until like September. So hopefully, prayerfully, this leads to a promotion. So I can be like, deuces, moving right along. It's
and that
like a
just
speed bump.
we just brought it full circle back to
Let's
the
go. We
beginning.
claiming it. Yep.
If you stay ready, you ain't gotta
Hello.
get ready.
Hello, because I had already been planning to be in this program since last year, since they told me about it, and I was doing things to get into it and get on their radar, almost like pledging, but not really, because we don't do that over here. But that's the goal, y'all. New city, new paycheck, new salary grade, all 2024. Let's go.
Shot a clock to that.
All 2024. Shot to that.
I'm taking a
Hey.
shot of tea because I got it too lit at the festival.
I'm
Nothing wrong with
doing
a little
something.
tea shot.
What'd you say, Ada? What you doing?
I said, ain't nothing wrong with a little tea shot.
It's a little tea.
I got some raspberry tea over here as well.
All right. Well, I stayed true to shot o'clock. I did have a shot of that brown.
Okay.
Now I'm sipping some of that Bel Air, the white bottle. That's the best bottle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all cooking
Viewers,
today?
listeners.
I know y'all
Pardon me?
cooking.
Y'all cooking today?
It's Sunday. We almost always cook on Sunday. I'm sorry. My other half, she'll be back soon. And I'll let y'all know what we doing. Viewers, listeners, thank y'all so much for joining us. I thought this was a really, really good episode, and we hope y'all enjoyed it too. What y'all think, twin and research team?
Yes. It was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you was wondering if we had enough. Look at the time. Go ahead.
We right on time, just like
Oh
my
no, we
kid.
did our thing. We did our thing.
I love it.
Hopefully for y'all, P Money be back soon with us. She in them books right now, but can't fault her for that. Gotta do what you gotta do. Please join us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Call Your Cousins, CALLYOURCOUSIN. Instagram at Call Your Cousins Pod. Subscribe to our YouTube at Call Your Cousins, and hit us up with questions, emails, just things even if you think we can improve the show somehow, things you want to see us introduce. Our email is callyourcousinspod@gmail.com. Thank y'all. Talk to y'all soon.
Love y'all.
Bye.